Heartwarming talent show, poor girl's incredible 3-minute performance reveals hidden father's love. Lily stood in the middle of her high school's rundown auditorium, its faded blue curtains a stark contrast to the dreams she held close. The annual talent show was approaching fast, and for a shy 12-year-old girl living in a small, economically challenged town in the Midwest, it felt like her only shot at changing their lives. With her mother working tirelessly to make ends meet, the glittering cash prize could lift the weight off their shoulders, even just for a moment. Every note she practiced in the abandoned barn echoed not just with dreams, but with unspoken longing. Days melted into nights, her voice rising above the whispering wind and rustling hay, letting her escape the worries that shadowed her home. Yet, inside, the air felt heavier. Her mother rarely smiled nowadays. Each time Lily tried to talk, she quickly found herself dinged by her mother's preoccupied sighs. Misunderstandings flickered like wildfires between them, the love they shared feeling frayed at the edges. "Lily, I'm just so tired," her mother would mutter. "You don't understand," and though Lily wanted to respond, she was too afraid her mother would dismiss her dreams as childish. As the show neared, Lily's insecurities began to bubble over. Whispers followed her in the hall. Some mocked her ambition, claiming her family's misfortune would only earn her pity but not applause. "She'll never win," they hissed, their laughter piercing her confidence like shards of glass. Yet, Lily pressed on. She envisioned the pride glowing in her mother's eyes when she received the prize. Every hurtful word became fuel for her determination. The night of the show arrived, the atmosphere electric with chatter. Families from all walks of life filled the auditorium, the well-off sitting front and center, their unsuspecting disdain woven among the applause for others. When her name was called, tremors coursed through her. Taking a deep breath backstage, she recalled the serenade she shared with her mother, the way they would once laugh in harmony during hard times. She stepped into the spotlight, the stage lights blinding yet thrilling. The weight of judgment hung in the air, but she held on fiercely to her purpose. Closing her eyes, she began to sing a song filled with her heart's ache, the absence of her father cutting deep. Her voice danced in the air, laced with tears as she sang not only about loss but also about hope for a better future for her mother and herself. The crowd grew silent, spellbound as emotion washed over them. Just as she reached the crescendo, a figure emerged from the audience, breaking through expectations. A man stood there, a veteran cloaked in memories, a connection to the missing piece of Lily's life. Her father, he whispered, revealing the truth of a decorated war veteran battling his own demons, forcing the audience to re-evaluate their judgments and biases. The haunting truths echoed louder than her song, opening frayed connections within the audience. Heart pounding, tears streaming, Lily realized that this moment wasn't just about winning, it was a call for understanding. She faced the crowd, words tumbling from her lips like the notes of her song. "We're more than what we appear," she challenged, vulnerability stitched into her voice. And just like that, she poured her heart into the dying light of the stage, leaving the audience breathless. What would they do with this new understanding? Would they let go of their prejudices, or allow them to linger, trapping her in their judgments? In that suspenseful silence, the future loomed before her, full of uncertainty, yet blooming with the hope of acceptance. As she stepped off stage, the noise of applause faded, but the question remained, could they truly embrace the truth unlayered before them? Lily walked off the stage, still vibrating with the energy of her performance. The applause echoed in her ears, a soothing yet disorienting sound. But as she turned to look back at the audience, her heart sank. Instead of cheers, there were murmurs, puzzled expressions, and shuffling feet, people processing what they had just witnessed. "Did you see him?" a girl whispered to her friend. "Is that really her father?" Lily's breath hitched. The uncertainty wrapped around her like a heavy coat. She felt exposed. Had she dared too much? Drawing attention not just for her talent, but for the story behind it, the truth that had hung overhead like dark clouds. As she slipped into the shadows, she saw her mother's face twisted with a mix of disbelief and joy, tears glimmering in her eyes. But there was something else there too: fear. Fear that the connection they had long searched for could come at a cost. Lily. Her mother's voice rang through the dim corridors. Wait. Lily turned, her heart racing. Mom, what if they don't accept him? What if they don't accept us? Her mother closed the distance, pulling her into a quick embrace. Listen, sweetie, it's okay. The truth can be hard, but it's also freeing. We've faced so much already. This is just another step. But what if they judge him? What if they're cruel? The words tumbled out of Lily's mouth, filled with worry. She remembered the whispers, the laughter. Could they return? As they stepped into the bright lights of the auditorium lobby, the once welcoming space felt transformed. A crowd lingered, drawn together in whispers. Some approached them cautiously, like sheep on the verge of a stampede. Lily's stomach twisted into knots, her confidence wavering. Hey, you were amazing, said a boy from her science class, his eyes shining. That was so powerful. Praises poured in, lifting her spirits for a moment, but when he turned, she saw another boy, a classmate who had teased her just days before, point and laugh. Yeah, but you just want pity from that guy, right? Lily clenched her fists, her breath hitching again. Her mother gripped her shoulder gently. Don't let them define your worth. You showed them who you are. But the shadows of doubt crept back in. She wanted to believe her mother's words, but in that instant, the boy's laughter clawed at her insides. Did they really understand? Suddenly, the distinctive sound of a microphone crackled. The principal stepped up on stage again, her expression serious. We'd like to introduce someone incredible. Please welcome home a member of our community, a brave soldier returning to his family. Lily's breath caught in her throat as the man stepped into the spotlight. It was her father. He looked rough around the edges, some scars visible on his arms, but the warmth in his gaze was unmistakable. The crowd began to clap hesitantly at first, then louder as they recognized him. But as Lily looked around, she could see a mix of reactions, some welcoming, others skeptical. Incredible performance, Lily, he spoke into the microphone, his voice steady yet filled with emotion. You made me proud. Tears streamed down her face as he locked eyes with her. She felt an unbreakable bond in that moment, a tether that pulled at all her fears. As the crowd began to applaud more genuinely, Lily realized it was not just about acceptance. It was about healing. But the knot of fear twisted deeper within her. What would it take for them to truly embrace their family's truth? Her heart raced as new questions pooled within her. The acceptance she longed for seemed so close yet so far. And as Lily took a shaky breath, hoping for the best yet bracing for the worst, a familiar voice chimed from the back. What's next for them? A friend she had once trusted ventured, unaware of the wound still fresh. In that charged moment, the air thick with potential, Lily glanced at her mother and father. Together, they stood at the edge of a new journey. Could they face the storm ahead? Lily stood frozen, her heart pounding as those around her buzzed with questions and curiosity. The cacophony of whispers, laughter, and claps swirled around her like a tornado. She wanted to retreat, dive into the safety of shadows, but the bright lights demanded her presence. Her father was here, finally, in the same space where she had poured her heart out through music. Lily. Her mother's voice broke through the chaos. We need to connect with him. Swallowing hard, Lily nodded, even as her stomach twisted in knots. What would she say? How would she explain all of this? She stole a glance at her father, who was now being enveloped by friends and neighbors. Their familiar smiles barely concealed the questions in their eyes, questions she dreaded. Can you face them? Her mother's eyes were fierce, protective. You're stronger than you think. With hesitant steps, Lily walked forward. Her father's face lit up as he caught sight of her, his rugged features softened with love. It stirred something deep within her, a mix of pride and dread. Would he feel the pressure? Could he handle the scrutiny? Lily! He exclaimed, kneeling to her level, the crowd falling momentarily silent in awe of the reunion. You are a star up there. His eyes were bright, and for a moment, Lily felt their pain dissolve in the warmth of his affection. I tried to do my best, she stammered, feeling suddenly small under the weight of expectations. You did more than that. You shared our story. He reached out, planting a gentle kiss on her forehead. The crowd watched, some with hearts warmed, others skeptically raising eyebrows. They were dissecting every move, judging intentions, maybe even reliving their past choices about her family. A woman stepped forward, her face brimming with admiration. I remember you from when you were just a little girl. She called out. How brave you are, both of you. Lily's chest swelled with a combination of warmth and trepidation. Could it truly be brave to share such much? Wasn't it just a risk waiting to be met with a backlash? But before she could dwell on that thought, a significant voice broke through the chatter. The principal, with a sober yet encouraging expression, approached the podium once more. We all want to understand, Lily. We want to support you. The room fell silent, hanging on every word. Let us talk openly, share not just what is hard, but what is hopeful. For a heartbeat, the room felt charged as if they were all standing on a cliff's edge, ready to leap into the unknown. Lily exchanged a glance with her father, the weight of his gaze calmed her swirling worries. Mom, what do you think? She asked softly, feeling uncertain but hopeful. Should I speak? Yes. You can do this, her mother replied, pride wrapped around her words like a comforting blanket. Lily stepped toward the stage again, heart racing, heat blooming across her cheeks. She faced the audience, feeling their curious stares. I know that some of you have questions, and I wish I had all the answers. But I want to share what I feel. The microphone felt heavy in her hands, but she pressed on. It hasn't been easy for my dad or for us. He's fought to return, and we've fought to be seen as a family. Sometimes, the way we see our truth can change how we feel about it. She could feel the crowd's tension shift, a collective breath held as they considered her words. I can't promise you it will be easy, but I believe it can be beautiful if we face it together. A silence rippled across the auditorium. Was she reaching them? Suddenly, the same boy who had laughed earlier raised his hand. What if we don't understand? What if we can't? Lily hesitated, feeling the gravity of his question. But this was exactly what she feared but had to confront the doubts, the hesitations, the judgments. I guess understanding starts with trying. Just like tonight. We all took a chance. And maybe we'll be surprised. As she spoke those words, a swell of courage washed through Lily. This wasn't just about her. It was about creating a community where truth could breathe. And just as the first glimmers of acceptance began to surface, an unexpected voice cut through the tension. Who's going to help tell the story after this? Lily felt the familiar chill of uncertainty wash over her. What happened next could redefine her. Would they stand with her, face the storm together? Shaking but grounded, Lily took a deep breath, her resolve strengthening. She was ready to discover what happened next, to navigate the unpredictable tides together. Who's going to help tell the story after this? The boy's question hung in the air like a weighted balloon, slowly drifting toward the ground. Lily's heart raced. She had just taken the first significant step toward vulnerability, and now, that question clawed back all her fears. Taking a steadying breath, she shifted her gaze around the audience, searching for reassurance in their faces. There were nods of understanding, curious expressions mingled with encouragement, but also glimmers of doubt. What had she started? Maybe we can all help, she replied, her voice gaining strength. I've shared my part. But every story involves many voices, right? And it's not just about my dad and me. It's about all of us. Her father's proud smile unraveled some of her tension. She could tell he was on board, and that gave her hope. Let us be honest, she continued, it's scary to open up, especially when we're afraid of being misunderstood or judged. But what if tonight is just the beginning? What if we turn our hurt into something more? A few hands shot up, eager to comment. A woman from the back shouted, I want to help. I never knew you felt this way. A ripple of murmurs ignited, the room suddenly buzzing with interest. Another voice chimed in, we need to hear more, the whole picture. The energy in the crowd had shifted. What had once been a cautious audience morphed into a community ready to share, ready to learn. They were hungry to connect, to heal, to understand. It struck Lily then maybe it wasn't just her story that needed to be told, but that of others too. Exactly. She exclaimed, her excitement bubbling over. What if we set up regular meetings? A group where we can share our stories? I know it's a lot to ask, but together we could create something beautiful. A space where we can tackle our fears, misunderstandings, and let us be real our pasts. As the room filled with a chorus of agreeing voices, she felt a sense of empowerment coursing through her. Years of pain, silence, and hidden truths suddenly seemed lighter, uncovering a space for healing. The principal stepped forward again, smiling widely. This is extraordinary. If you're all willing to come together, perhaps we can start an outreach program. Something to unite our community. A wave of applause swept through the auditorium. The sound was like a warm embrace, and for the first time, Lily felt that she was not just forging a path but was in the company of those ready to walk it alongside her. But as the energy escalated, a shadow crossed her mind. What about those who wouldn't embrace this chance? What would happen when her voice gathered more weight, more wounding truths? Would they still stand together? Just then, Lily remembered the boy who had questioned her understanding. I can't promise it'll be easy for any of us. It's going to take work, and there will be times when we stumble. But, what if we lift each other up when we're down? A beautiful thought, said her mother softly, pride gleaming in her eyes. The audience held their breath, their hopes tethered to Lily's next words. I'm ready to share more. Each one of us has had battles past hurts we carry. Let us allow our stories to connect us, not tear us apart. The applause roared, but in its midst, an uneasy thought lingered. Was this hope opening a door, or just a different kind of pain lurking on the other side? With newfound courage, Lily stepped off the stage, breathing in the energy of the crowd. Meet our community leaders tomorrow, she called out. Let us see what we can build together. I want this to be real. As she stepped back into the crowd, a sense of warmth enveloped her, yet a nagging worry still clung to her heart. What if she couldn't live up to the expectations she had just created? The thought lurked like an uninvited guest, and as she caught her father's eye, all she could wonder was how far they would go in unveiling their truth and whether the narrative they created would be big enough to heal their past. The night, infused with promise, beckoned her forward. But still, those questions loomed. Large, what if the storm was only beginning? What if they hadn't braced themselves for the churning waves ahead? Lily mingled with the crowd, feeling lighter yet still tethered to an undercurrent of anxiety. The warmth of the applause still echoed in her ears, but it almost felt like a distant memory in the face of uncharted waters ahead. She wished to be buoyed by the support that had flooded the auditorium, but shadows of doubt drifted through her mind like clouds across a sunny sky. As whispers of the crowd surrounded her, a young girl with wide eyes approached. Are you really going to lead the group, Lily? Can you really help us share our stories? Lily took a moment to ponder the innocent yet heavy question. The sincerity in the girl's gaze was both heartwarming and intimidating. I hope so. If we all pitch in, maybe we can. Her voice trailed off as fear curled around her heart. But it's going to take time. Real stories are messy. Messy can be good, the girl said, her voice cheerful. Like a canvas with lots of colors. It tells a story too. Lily couldn't help but smile. The girl's optimism was infectious. That's a beautiful way to look at it. Maybe we'll all paint our own colors onto the canvas together. As the hours slipped by, discussions erupted into planning. They filled whiteboards with ideas, crafting an outline for a first meeting. In their excitement, they even envisioned a name for their group, the Story Collective. It sounded hopeful and inviting. However, as Lily recounted the details to her dad later, she saw a flash of concern in his eyes. You know it could get tough, right? Not everyone's going to be understanding. Sharing might bring up painful memories, he cautioned, his brows furrowing. I know, Dad. But it's like peeling an onion to get to something beautiful underneath. If we can do it together, we'll be okay, she replied, trying to convince herself just as much. Just don't carry the weight alone. Remember, you're not doing this just for you. This is a team effort, he said firmly, squeezing her shoulder. Lily appreciated his support, but what if she felt responsible for everyone's pain? What if her courage invited heavier burdens? As the community meeting loomed closer, anxiety crept back into her heart. She swayed between eager anticipation and the fear of the unknown. What if some stories echoed pain where healing was supposed to thrive? But then she thought of the boy who had been the catalyst for this movement. What must it feel like for him to wonder if anyone would listen? She felt a flicker of guilt. The following day arrived, and Lily stood before the mirror. Her reflection expressed a mix of determination and trepidation. You've got this, she whispered, but deep down, uncertainty clawed back in. At the community center, the warmth and excitement from last night had dimmed. Faces turned to her as she stepped onto the small stage again, this time amid an anxious assemblage of community members, all clutching their own stories. She felt dwarfed by their collective presence. Thank you all for coming, Lily began shakily. I know we're all here for different reasons, but we're united in wanting to share. Together, we can help each other. Murmurs of agreement floated through the room, but as she scanned the crowd, she sensed shifts in energy. The fear of judgment lurked behind some faces. Would everyone feel safe enough to share? Would they open up to reveal their raw truths? Lily paused, her heart pacing. Remember why we're here, she urged, her voice loud yet soft. This is a space for understanding, and I promise no one will be judged. Before she could finish, a woman stood up, tears brimming in her eyes. I've never shared my story. I've tucked it away for so long. What if it's too much? As the room held its breath, the uncertainty settled heavily, forcing Lily to realize they were on the brink of something powerful yet unpredictable. Could they really create a sanctuary just by sharing their fears? It might feel heavy, Lily agreed, her voice steady amidst the brewing storm. But what if uncovering our paths together turns that weight into wings? Just then, another voice chimed in, challenging the atmosphere, and what if it scares us even more? The room tensed, and Lily felt her heartbeat race, drowning out all noise. Perhaps this truly was just the beginning, but what would their next step uncover? How could they navigate through the uncertainties that lay ahead? A stirring silence enveloped the room, heavy with unspoken fears. Lily's mind raced, and she took a deep breath, using the moment to gather her thoughts. This was the chance to guide the group, to transform that anxiety into something beautiful. Let us start by sharing what we're afraid of, she suggested, her voice breaking the tension like sunlight piercing through a dark cloud. If we're scared, that's okay. It's safe here. No one will interrupt your thoughts, we're all listening. More murmurs swept through the crowd, some heads nodding. It was a small victory, but it felt monumental. The woman who had stood earlier returned to her seat. I don't know if I can, she whispered, her vulnerability hanging in the air like an invitation. Can I? Another voice piped up from across the room. A teenage boy shifted nervously in his chair. I've been to hell and back, but I'm scared it won't matter. It all matters, Lily reassured him, stepping closer to the edge of the stage. We're here to catch each other if we fall. It's not about the stories being perfect, it's about being real. As if ignited by her words, a moment passed before another brave soul spoke up. I want to share something. But I don't know how. It was an elderly man with kind but sad eyes. Just start with what's on your heart, Lily encouraged gently. We can help you find the words. With a deep sigh, the man nodded. 20 years ago, I lost my daughter. I raised her alone, and when the time came to say goodbye, I had nothing. I never told anyone what that day felt like. His voice trembled, but he faced the crowd, a glimmer of strength peeking through his grief. The air resonated with his honesty, and with every word that followed, the heaviness in the room shifted. Others drew closer, the connection was palpable. Every story summoned more courage, and Lily could feel barriers collapsing. As more participants began to share, the atmosphere became charged with emotion. Each shared story opened a door, beckoning others to step through. Tears fell freely, laughter erupted at unexpected moments, and there were gasps of recognition. It felt like a collective heartbeat, a rhythm of shared experience that pulsed in sync. Lily realized how crucial this moment was not just for her, but for the community. They were in the process of creating a safe space not only for healing but for growth. We're not just stories, we're journeys, she interjected after a particularly moving tale. And the messiness that's what makes us human. As the hour ticked on, the initial weight of fear transformed into a newfound excitement. Sharing became a lifeline, pulling them out of the shadows. Lily began to feel like a bridge connecting these souls, and just as the last story was told, a realization washed over her: she wasn't leading this alone. They were all leading together. Suddenly, a hand shot up from the back of the room. What happens next? A young voice pierced through the emotional buzz. Can we keep this going? Lily's heart painted a picture of future meetings where stories mingled together like vibrant threads in a tapestry. Yes. This is just the beginning. We can meet again. We'll make a plan together. Excitement rippled through the crowd, but as they buzzed with ideas, Lily felt the stirring of a deeper question: what if their collective stories could not only bring healing but also spark change beyond this room? The thought flickered like a candle, bright and fragile, asking to be explored. Can we really do this? She wondered aloud, her eyes glancing around the eager faces. Can our stories reach further than we ever imagined? The room buzzed with anticipation, but uncertainty trailed closely behind. What would that journey look like, and where would it lead? The energy in the room was electric, a vibrant dance of hope and fear intertwining. Faces lit up with curiosity and determination as Lily took a moment to let her thoughts simmer. Could they truly make a difference beyond these walls? Would their stories reach the ears of someone who needed to hear them? A soft voice interrupted her reverie. I think we should do something big, something that can show others what we've found here. It was the teenage boy again, his earlier fear replaced by a flicker of enthusiasm. Lily met his gaze, feeling her heart swell. What do you have in mind? She asked, encouragingly. What if we hosted an event? His confidence grew as he spoke. Like a talent show. Everyone has something special to share, and we could invite the whole community. They can see how we're all connected. A wave of murmurs rippled through the room, planting seeds of excitement and debate. Some faces lit up with eagerness, while others wore expressions of doubt. Lily sensed the tension but pressed forward. That could be amazing. Sharing our talents could help others feel brave enough to share their stories too. We could create art, music, dance, however we express ourselves. An older woman in the audience, her hair silver but her spirit fiery, spoke up. What if we create a committee? And for those who aren't performers, there are other ways to participate. We could use this as a calling. This could be a real event for the community to experience the power of connection. With each idea that flowed, Lily found herself beaming with pride. They were building something together, brick by brick. They were transforming that uncertainty into trust, and trust into action. The group cohesion grew stronger as they began discussing logistics, each voice adding a layer of depth to the idea. They threw around suggestions for locations, themes, and potential dates, each idea sparking laughter and nods. Everything felt possible. Yet, in the back of her mind, doubts lingered. What if they faced pushback from the community? What if their vulnerabilities were met with ridicule instead of acceptance? But then again, hadn't they all just faced their fears together in this very room? Feeling brave, Lily decided to share her concern. I love this idea, but what if people don't get it? We're all a little broken in here. What if they don't want to hear our stories? The room grew quiet, the excited hum fading into contemplative stillness. She held her breath, hoping someone would respond. Then the elderly man who had shared about his daughter spoke up. They might not understand at first, but we're taking a risk and sometimes that's worth it. Our stories matter, and it might just resonate with someone who feels just as we do. His words were a balm, and the weight of uncertainty transformed into a gentle understanding flowing through the room. With renewed determination, they rallied together, their excitement swelling. Ideas poured in, plans began to take shape, and with every heartbeat, they felt braver than before. As Lily marveled at the blossoming spirit in the room, her eyes drifted to the corner where a young girl quietly held a notebook, scribbling furiously. What if you want to share, too? Lily asked, kneeling down. The girl looked up, wide-eyed. I've written a song. But I don't know if I can sing it in front of everyone. Lily's heart twisted at the sight of fear clouding such raw talent. You can do it. Just like we're all doing here. This is your safe space. With a flicker of courage, the girl nodded, and Lily felt the promise of something greater ahead. Let's make sure everyone feels safe enough to share their story, Lily proposed, her voice steady. Once we get the ball rolling, who knows where it might lead. As they clapped and cheered around her, she felt butterflies of excitement manage to dance around the uncertainty. What awaited them was still unknown, yet it shone brightly ahead in the distance. But what if the event became more than just an opportunity to share? What if it sparked a movement, a revolution of connectivity that could span far beyond their little town? Lily couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the verge of something monumental. Would they embrace that calling? Would they rise together, ready to change their world? The following week was a whirlwind of activity and anticipation. The small meeting room buzzed with the frantic energy of preparation. Lily felt a fire igniting within her, fueling her every move. They had set a date for the talent show, and the momentum forged a path for growth and connection that felt almost magical. People arrived at the meetings with smiles and hopeful glances. Each person brought something unique, a glimmer of their shared stories. The elderly man shared anecdotes of courage and loss, the shy girl recited poetry that weaved strands of longing and dreams. Every voice added to the rich tapestry of hope they were creating. As the days turned into nights, Lily threw herself into organizing. She created a sign-up sheet, each name transforming from just a line on paper into narratives waiting to unfold. She had a vision not just for an event but for a community binding together, each participant a thread woven into a new, colorful fabric. While excitement soared, insecurities occasionally crept in, whispering doubts into her mind. What if they don't show up? What if someone falls flat on stage? She steeled herself against those thoughts. Each time they met, she reminded herself of the elderly man's words, sometimes taking a risk is worth it. As she prepared the flyers for distribution, she noticed the young girl from the previous meeting pacing back and forth, biting her lip in a mixture of anxiety and determination. She approached her gently. Hey, everything okay? The girl paused, eyes darting around as if seeking an escape. What if no one likes my song? What if I mess up? Lily knelt down to meet her gaze. Remember, you're not alone. We're all here together. The only way to fail is to not try. And even if you stumble, your courage to share will inspire others. The girl sighed and nodded slowly, taking a deep breath. I guess so. I've practiced a lot, I just want it to be perfect. Believe me, that pressure can steal the joy, Lily said with a warm smile. Let it be real. Just share your heart. The girl smiled faintly, stronger courage glimmering in her eyes. The day of the talent show arrived, and the community center transformed into a vibrant celebration of creativity. Colorful banners adorned the walls, twinkling fairy lights danced overhead, and the air hummed with laughter and chatter. Families gathered, faces lighting up with eager anticipation. Lily stood backstage, her heart pounding like a drum. Every performer was a testament to the vulnerability they had collectively embraced. The moment was bigger than them, bigger than their fears. As the performances began, emotions flowed like a river. There was a local band that poured their souls into their music, a group of kids who danced with unstoppable joy, and finally, it was the girl's turn. Lily watched as the girl took the stage, her small frame trembling against the bright lights. Clutching her notebook, she looked out into the crowd and seemed to draw strength from their warm smiles and encouraging cheers. The first notes of her song echoed through the hall, a melody laced with heartache and hope that wrapped around everyone, touching each person's soul. As the girl sang, Lily felt tears prick at her eyes. The raw emotion struck at the core of every shared struggle and triumph in the room. The audience swayed, entranced by the story unfolding through each verse. When the performance ended, the applause rolled like thunder, shaking the walls. The young girl's face bloomed with triumph and relief. And in that moment, Lily knew they had crossed a threshold. They had connected, bonded through the very act of vulnerability. But just as they celebrated this victory, a shadow whispered its presence in the back of Lily's mind. What awaited them when the lights dimmed and they returned to their everyday lives? As laughter mingled with emotions in the air, Lily couldn't shake the feeling that this night was merely the beginning. What ripple effects would this connection create beyond their gathering? Would they dare to dream of a world where these smiles turned into stronger community ties, a deeper understanding amongst neighbors? As everyone celebrated, those questions flickered like stars against the night sky. Lily felt a thrill course through her. The real journey was just beginning. What would happen next? Lily stood in the midst of the celebration, soaking in the joy that radiated from every corner of the room. Laughter bubbled up like a sweet soda pop, and the smiles around her were contagious. She felt a warmth in her chest, a sense of pride mingled with a touch of apprehension. Could it last? As the show wrapped up, families mingled. Children danced in little circles, their faces painted with joy, while parents snapped photos to capture the moment. It was beautiful, yet Lily felt a tug at her heart. She needed to know the impact of their night together, how this spark could turn into a flame for something bigger. Inspired, she decided to approach the stage after all the performances were over. "Can I have everyone's attention for a moment?" she called out, her voice strong yet warm. The chatter faded, and eyes turned to her. People leaned in, eager to hear more. "Tonight was amazing. Each one of you shared a piece of yourself, and that is something so rare and beautiful. I don't want this to end here. I want us to keep sharing, keep connecting. Let us not wait until the next talent show to come together again." A ripple of murmurs passed through the crowd. Lily could see sparks of excitement in some faces, but there were also those whose expressions flickered with uncertainty. "What do you mean?" a voice called from the back. It was the elderly man who had shared his stories. Lily smiled, feeling a surge of solidarity. "I mean that we can create a community where we all feel safe sharing our stories, our talents. Let us form a group that meets regularly. We can offer support, workshops, or simply a listening ear. We can help each other grow." She paused, letting her words sink in. "What if we became a family that lifts each other higher? Together, we can encourage talent, build confidence, and create bonds that extend beyond this room and into our lives." "Sounds great!" shouted someone else, and soon others joined in. Enthusiasm began to bubble over, as faces brightened with the possibility. Through the clamor of support, Lily caught a glimpse of the shy girl from earlier. Her eyes shone with hope, and she nodded in agreement, causing Lily's heart to swell. As the crowd began to chant ideas for their next gathering, Lily felt a surge of excitement. But then, amidst the cheers, something caught her attention: a figure standing alone at the edge of the gathering. It was the young girl's father, his face cast in shadows. He hesitated, watching his daughter beam with accomplishment. An uneasy feeling tugged at Lily. She had learned the girl's joy stemmed from overcoming personal hurdles, and the absence of support from her family had been acute. Noticing the father's downcast expression struck a chord deep within her. Feeling the pull of compassion, she stepped away from the crowd and approached him. "Hi there. I'm Lily. Your daughter was incredible tonight." He looked up, surprise spreading across his features. "Thank you. I'm just not used to all this." "What do you mean?" she asked gently. He rubbed the back of his neck, eyes darting toward his daughter, who was being embraced by friends. "I haven't been a part of her life the way I should have. It's been hard for us." "Sometimes showing up is just the first step," Lily said, her voice steady. "She deserves to know you're proud of her." He let out a shaky breath. "I want to be there for her if only I knew how." In that moment, Lily realized this wasn't simply about a talent show, this was about healing, connection, and the untapped potential for change. As she started to speak, Lily felt an electric charge in the air. What if this could lead to something transformative for both the girl and her father? "Let us figure this out together," she suggested, her heart beating fast with anticipation. As they spoke, laughter and music surrounded them. But within the bubble they had created, the real transformation stirred just beneath the surface. What unexpected journey would unfold from this conversation? Would the father's determination to forge a new relationship with his daughter ignite the community's spirit even further? Lily couldn't help but wonder. The days that followed the talent show felt electric with possibility. Lily's mind buzzed with what had been set in motion. The community had resonated with the idea of connection, and now they were rolling up their sleeves to create something that was more than just a moment, it was a movement. At the next meeting, excitement mingled with a sprinkle of anxiety. Families crowded around tables littered with bright paper and markers, brainstorming ideas for their next gathering. The elderly man was there, sharing words of wisdom, while the shy girl introduced her father with pride. Seeing those connections blossom warmed Lily's heart, like sunlight breaking through the clouds. "Let us host workshops," someone suggested, the enthusiasm bubbling. "We can teach each other our skills: music, art, cooking. Share our stories through our talents." Lily nodded vigorously, picturing tables filled with laughter and chatter, people leaning on one another for support. As everyone erupted into chatter about logistics, it struck her this was not only about sharing talents. It was about building trust, removing barriers, and embracing vulnerability. As plans developed, Lily's heart filled with hope. Yet, at the back of her mind, she held on to a thread of apprehension. What if people didn't show up? What if old judgments resurfaced? But every time doubt crept in, she looked around the room. She saw the shy girl serenading her father, the elderly man candidly discussing the hurdles he had faced, formidable yet beautiful in their honesty. They were in this together, and that feeling ignited a spark within her. The day of their first workshop arrived, and Lily stepped into the community center, her breath hitching at the sight. The place was alive with colors: tables decorated, art supplies sprawled, chairs arranged in a circle for sharing. Families buzzed with enthusiasm, their voices mingling like a gentle wind filled with laughter. "Welcome, everyone," Lily called out, standing at the front, feeling the moment's weight. "Today is about sharing and learning from one another. Let us dive into this together." As workshops unfolded, stories flowed like the vibrant colors around them. Children painted while parents demonstrated cooking tricks, the smell of spices dancing through the air. A rhythm of drums awakened music that called forth laughter, and laughter sparked more stories. After some time, the flow of sharing shifted the atmosphere. People spoke about their struggles, their victories, and truths buried deep within. The once silent fears began to breathe, bridging gaps that had seemed impossible to cross. As the meeting wrapped up, Lily noticed the girl beaming beside her father, who had pulled his chair closer as if to say, "I'm here now." This was healing. Then, standing tall, wanting to cement this connection further, Lily spoke again. "This is just the beginning. We've seen tonight what we can achieve together. I believe we can make our community stronger by continuing these workshops." The room erupted into applause, a collective promise to keep showing up, to keep connecting. But just as she felt the warmth of their support swell around her, a shadow loomed in a corner. "What if they don't understand?" A tentative voice piped up. It was the boy who first laughed at her during the talent show. Lily stepped forward. "We can't control how they respond, but we can show them our stories and remember that every effort matters. Our journey is about standing together, not letting fear drown us." "Exactly," the elderly man affirmed. "What we cultivate now can create ripples of change. They might not understand today, but tomorrow, we'll keep pushing through." With that, the room filled with new energy, their resolve stronger than ever. Weeks rolled by, blossoming into a vibrant hub of creativity. They hosted gatherings, built relationships, and turned old wounds into new foundations. The shy girl revealed her talent for spoken word during a workshop. The elderly man shared more stories, bringing depth and nostalgia to their sessions. Through it all, Lily felt lifted. She could see the growth around her, families reconnecting, friendships forming, and even the boy who once mocked her slowly transforming into an ally. One day, as they prepared for another meeting, the door swung open, and a new family stepped in, eyes wide with curiosity. They were newcomers, and the atmosphere shifted with their arrival. Lily stepped forward, heart racing as she extended her hand. "Welcome. We're glad you're here." In that moment, she understood. This was not just about her or her past, it was about forging a community grounded in compassion and courage. As conversations flowed and laughter resonated, she felt the warmth of acceptance wrap around her. She wasn't just pushing through fears anymore, she was a part of a family. And now, with every line that blurred between strangers, every story woven into their shared tapestry, they were healing, growing, transforming together. What lay ahead became clearer. Together, they possessed the potential to rewrite narratives not only for themselves but for their entire town. When they created a community that embraced every color within them, they found power in their voices and connections. What had started out as a talent show birthed into a movement, and Lily smiled brightly, knowing this was only the beginning. Now, it's your turn. You need to subscribe now to never miss another inspiring story about transformation. Leave a like now to let the algorithm know these stories matter. Comment below about how this story touched your heart. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness the power of community. Your support helps us create more of these life-changing stories.